Hi, it's Allie and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about my January TBR. So this is a list of books that I want to read in January. The first on my list is House of Salt and Sorrows by Aaron A. Craig. So this is a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, and the main character in this book that we follow is Annalay. And in this book, her oldest four sisters, have already died some way or another, and the townspeople think that these sisters are cursed. So it follows Annalay and how she thinks that the deaths are suspicious as well. So she's trying to figure out what is going on at Highmore Manor that's causing all of her sisters to die. I've heard lots of good things about this book from other booktubers, and I don't know a whole lot about it, but I think it sounds very intriguing, so I'm very excited to read this. Next up is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. So in this book, we follow Star, who is a black girl that goes to a white privileged school, and she lives in a poor black community. Now, during this book, her childhood friend is shot and killed by a police officer, and she's the only witness to this crime. Now, I'm really excited to read this book. I want to get this read as soon as possible because Angie Thomas's new book, Concrete Rose, which is about Star's dad, is coming out here soon, and I want to read this before I read that book. So I'm very excited to read this. I don't usually read a ton of contemporary, but I think this book will be really good. Next is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. So this book is about sirens, and the sirens in this book, they kill princes and then bury their hearts under the ground. The main character in this book is a siren, and she had no option but to kill one of her own. So she was punished by being sent on land, and the only way that she can return back home is if she kills the prince of that land. But he's not just a normal prince. So this prince was raised to hunt sirens. So I think this is very interesting. My guess is that this is gonna kind of be an enemies to lover trope, which I think sounds very interesting. I've never really read a book about mermaids, but I like mermaids, so I think that this will be a great book to read this month. Next is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Sayans. This follows Ari and Dante as they have a road trip. Now, Ari and Dante couldn't be more different, and this book kind of follows them and how they find themselves and what their purpose in life is. So I'm really excited to read this. I actually bought this for my cousin for Christmas because I heard so many good things about it. So not only am I excited to read this, but I'm also excited to see what she thought of this book as well. Next, I have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. So I actually got this in my Outcrate December box, and before I got this, I actually had heard nothing about this book. But it actually is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in 1920s Shanghai. It follows Juliet and Roma, and they're from rival gangs. And they actually were in love as children, but then they had a falling out. And in this book, they say it's a contagion, a madness of a monster in the shadows. And Juliet and Roma have to put aside their differences and come together to save all the people that they love. So I'm really excited to read this. I love retellings, so I think it'll be very interesting to see this take on Romeo and Juliet. Finally, I have The Selection by Kiera Cass. I know this is a very popular series, and I have not read it yet. I remember seeing it when I was younger, but I had just never picked it up to read it. But I've heard a lot of people say that this is kind of their guilty pleasure to read. So this is about a selection between girls. So a selection is held and one girl is chosen to marry the prince. But the main character in this one doesn't necessarily want to be selected because she wants to live her own life. I'm really excited to read this. I've heard lots of good things about it. I think it'll be a light, fun read. Definitely something to pick up between my heavier reads. Now, if I get this done early enough in January, I actually might pick up the sequel to this and maybe get that read this month as well. So those are all the books on my January TBR. Please let me know down below in the comments if you have read any of these books, what your thoughts on them might be, or if you plan to read any of these books. All my social media accounts will be linked down below if you want to check those out, and these books will be linked as well if you're interested in any of them. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!